Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to a video drop, yet another short episode of Mob True Crime with Gene and JC. Gene and I are back at it like a couple of smack addicts, so to speak. And Gene's been busy with interviews and a lot of stuff, myself included. We're both invested with one of our friends, which I'll mention at the end here. Today, though, this is going to be an episode where Gene's going to get into a story that you're going to find very interesting. It's early in the West Coast right now. I don't feel like looking at lights. So today is a Ray-Bans inside the house kind of day. So
Yeah,
I'm not in the mood to look at lights right now. And Gene is literally telling you a street story on the street. You know,
that's right.
straight up. He's getting ready to. Little do you guys know, but he's in Colombia right now. He's waiting outside a coca field, and
That's what it
he's
looks like,
gonna
right?
he's gonna make sure something really big happens, and then New York will have a lot of party stuff. We'll say. Now, keeping it real, we're definitely happy to be back. Make sure you hit the like button or dislike if you hate us, because you haters drive this traffic. Ring the notification bell, leave a comment, let us know that you're here, and also become a channel member. And without further ado, Gene, go ahead and get us started. Tell the story. The only time I'll be interrupting is if there's a little bit of noise in the background and I have to ask him to repeat it. But from here, kick it off, bro.
Right. So we're going to discuss the Latanza trial and the basis of the case with Vinny. A lot of people didn't know much about that. I mean, they should have. It was the biggest case in the country at the time. But a lot of people that don't know about it, I'll explain a lot of it to you. So Vinny Asaro was the captain and supposed to be the acting boss of the family. He was made member since the 60s and very well respected captain in the Borrello family, who I worked for many years. And what had happened with that is that in the 2000s, his cousin Gaspar had got caught with check fraud in Vegas, and somewhere I think it was Vegas, and he started working with the government, and they told him, "Listen, we want your cousin on murder, and we know he did the Latanza. We know you were part of it because Gaspar was a part of the Latanza. He actually was a driver. We need to get your cousin on recording." He said, "All right." So he wore a wire on Vinny for like 3 years. Now let me explain something to you. Vinny Asaro, not only did he admit to killing people and admit to being a part of the crimes and everything, he actually told him where a body was. They actually found the body of a guy named Paul Katz that they killed in 1969, him and Jimmy Burke. And they buried him under a house. And then his son Jerry moved the body because something was happening where they had to move him. They actually found the corpse. A lot of people don't know that Morrie Wigs was killed by that crew. And he's also buried on Vinny Asaro's fencing company. So Morrie Wigs, the infamous one that you watched, Morrie's the commercial, funny. He was killed by whoever, and Vinny Asaro and them buried him on his fencing company, which is in Ozone Park, Queens. So a lot of these things that people don't know. Um, for instance, when he was locked up on it, I spoke to him while he was in MDC, and he called me, and he needed me to help his wife move the stuff out of the house because obviously he thought he's never coming home again. And I says, last words I ever said to Vinny was, "Don't worry, Vin, you'll beat this." He goes, you throw some shit against the wall. He goes, "You throw shit against the wall, some of it's going to stick." That was his last line he ever said to me about the whole situation. And then I got locked up. And then he went to trial. And I was sitting in Rikers Island when he was on trial. And I just remember the prosecutors were so confident and so sure that they would win this case. It was almost like the Titanic, the unsinkable ship, where they said there's no way they could lose. He's admitting to hours and hours of crimes and murders and moving bodies and all tons of details and everything. And there's no way he could win. They were actually so arrogant and cocky about it, the prosecutors I actually know personally, that they didn't even bring out Joe Messina. They brought out everybody but the actual boss of the family that could have testified to it. They says, "No, we don't need Joe. We got this." Slam dunk. The trial was, I believe, about a month and a half. It had more media attention and more publicity and media attention than any mafia case in the history of the mafia. It beat out the Gaudis, it beat out the commission, it beat out everything. It was the most publicized mob case of all time in the history of the mafia. And what ends up happening is not only does it backfire on the government, it becomes the biggest mockery in the Eastern District, where he was found not guilty on all charges. How he won is beyond me. I remember the equivalent of him winning that case is basically you, a person, going into this candy store, taking $1 buying a Mega Millions ticket, and winning the Mega Millions the next day. That's the odds of him being found not guilty on all charges. Not being found guilty on some charges, being found not guilty on all charges. Where this man admitted to crimes, they found the body. It was just absolutely insane how he won that case. And I want to go to show that nobody beats the feds. If you really break it down in the federal government and trials, their 99 conviction rate, it don't happen. Vinny Asaro fell in the 1% world where it's so rare that he won this. It was like, it was just astronomical. It was unbelievable. You just can't wrap your head around it. And, then he comes out and, like I said, at the end of the day, they had me balls to the wall. They wanted Vinny bad. They wanted Ronnie bad, whatever had happened. But, it was a fucked up situation. But what I wanted to say is that Vinny Asaro was a gangster's gangster, and he'll never be, to me, my opinion. And that's my opinion. Like I said, if people won't agree with me, to me, he's one of the most legendary gangsters of all time. My opinion. Say it's not facts to some people. To me, it's my opinion. This man was a gangster's gangster. He went out like he was supposed to. At one time in his life, he was a multimillionaire. He was a bad gambler. He was. He's telling me, he goes, Gene, because I'd rather be addicted to heroin than be a gambler. It's the worst addiction in the world. He goes, it's nothing worse than being a gambler. And that's what he was. He made $800,000 on Latan's ice, and he blew it in 3 months on gambling. So that goes to show you, how much gambling and everything can hurt you. But I want this man's legacy. He's a third generation. His father was a gangster. His grandfather was a gangster. His uncle was a captain in the Banana family. They call him the Pawn King, Mike Stefano, his name was. And his son's a captain now. So, his bloodline just continues. And this guy lived the utmost gangster life that you could be. If you want to see a definition of a gangster, a John Gotti, a Vinny Asaro, those guys, they operated very similar. They stuck to the code. They went out like gangsters. And that's really it. But a lot of people don't know about the Lufthansa. My boss was a part of it. The main plotter, his cousin was a driver in it. The other guy, Henry Hill, actually was not a part of it. He was freestyle on half of it. And also a lot of people don't know Vinny was in on most of those murders that happened. They just didn't put him in Goodfellas because Henry Hill didn't know about him because he really wasn't a part of it. He was just going off third-hand information and putting it up. So I want to just say with that is that at the end of the day, I know I did do what I did against Vinny, but I had the utmost respect for him, and I did not want to do that to him. Vinny was definitely a serious guy and very well respected, and he's dead now. He died in October, but he will go down as one of the most legendary banana gangsters of all time, and that's his legacy, and you can't take that from him. No matter what anyone says about him, that's what he was. He was a murderer. He was an earner. He was a serious, respected guy, and I just want the public to know, and a lot of people didn't know about the Lufthansa. It was the biggest upset in Mafia history, not history. Hear that all time. No one ever beat that. No one's ever beat the media attention on that case. And that's all I got to say for today. I just wanted to give you a story about Vinny Asaro. We'll be back in a couple of days to do something else. I got something I want to bring up in a couple of days. I got a little beef with some guys. We're gonna have fun. So that's all I got to say for today. And thank you.
Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. And Gene and I are both invested with Daily Prophet Dave. Gene and I both have $10,000 invested in with him. If you'd like to look into more information, I can't get into the details here. We have a non-disclosure agreement. There's certain things that have to be said because of federal law, the SEC, all that. And it has to be said by the experts that actually are doing the investment. But you can find out more about it by going to my website, mobtruecrime.com. Scroll to the bottom, click on the Daily Prophet Dave logo, and then fill out the form, and you'll be contacted by Dave and then by an expert in the field. And you'll very much be thankful that you did. Once again, one more time, like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, and then, of course, you can cash up at Mob True Crime. Also, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of this sit down, and we'll see you guys here next time on Mob True Crime.